Into the film of the game, first of all, I thought that our team played hard. I thought we really competed and battled and ran to the football defensively. I thought we played with good effort on offense. I thought we were in good condition. One of the more impressive things to me was outscoring them 28-3 in the second half, meaning that we were in good physical condition on both sides of the ball. Really impressed with Keith's second half of the game. I thought he was focused. I thought he was detailed. I thought he used his legs really well in the second half and running around and making his plays the way he's capable of doing it. Bishop, just kind of Bishop Sankey. If you could bottle that game up and say, who's Bishop Sankey? That game ran well. When we didn't block things perfectly and correctly, he made people miss and got yards. I thought Jadon Mickens, really, the numbers say it, but then you go watch the film, had a tremendous game for us, a real impact on the game. I thought John Ross had a nice impact on the game, could have maybe had even a bigger one, missed him a couple times. And I thought the O-line was good. On the defensive side of the ball, I thought Will Schamberger and Sean Parker, really nice football games for us at the safety spot. And when you're going against the no-huddle teams, the safeties need to have a factor in the game. They need to be able to cover. They need to be in their run support. I thought those two guys were effective. I thought Marcus Peters had a nice football game. And I thought Greg Ducre really had a nice game. Came up and tackled, did some things for us there. I think as a defense and as a whole, you come out of that game and you say, hey, you held Boise at 88 plays, 6 points. In our kind of verbiage, 2 explosive plays, and we came out saying we got to tackle better, which is really cool. And I think that was the whole theme for the team. There's a lot for us to work on. It's a nice win for us, but there's a lot for us to go back to work on. And as we touched on today, we went back. We had shoulder pads and helmets on a Monday after a game, so there's plenty of stuff for us to work on. It was a good win. I'm fired up for our fans. I'm fired up for the dog pack and what they brought to the game. I thought they were tremendous. Sellout crowd, all that stuff. I'm excited that they got to have that experience. But for us as a team, there's plenty of stuff that we need to work on to get better at. And that's the beauty of the schedule, that you play that first ball game against a really good opponent. You have a bye to work on those things before we get ready to go to Illinois. So proud of our guys. I'm proud of the way they played, the emotion, the energy that they brought. But we got things to work on to get better. And I think we can fix a lot of those things. And we have a chance to be pretty good, but we got to fix some stuff.
Questions?
Steve, you mentioned Keith's second half.
Yeah.
What was the difference from half one to half two for you?
Just him settling down and playing. You know, he was so fired up. You know, and I love that about Keith. Nobody prepared more. Nobody was more ready to go play the game. And that environment, that all the stuff that comes into the game, I think he was just, you know, kind of white-knuckled. You know, he was grabbing the ball a little too hard and just settle down and play the game. And I thought he did that. I thought he allowed plays to happen. One of the cooler plays was the touchdown to Josh Perkins. They kind of all-out blitzed us, and I went back to the Alamo Bowl 2 years ago. If you remember, a touchdown to Jermaine Kearse, we were in an empty formation. They all-out blitzed us. He pump fake, avoided the guy, threw the ball about 55 yards down the field to Jermaine for a touchdown. It was almost reminiscent of that all-out blitz. He pump fakes, avoids to his left, and hits Perkins for the touchdown. So to me, it was him just going back to playing football, and that was what I was hopeful that we could get to with Keith, because when he plays that way, man, we're pretty good, and he's really good when he plays that way. And I thought that happened in the second half. And when we went 4 straight drives of 4 consecutive touchdowns, he was just in a really good rhythm and good command of the offense.
I think we asked you after the game, but after looking at the film, was the blend of speed, pace, and efficiency about what you were looking for?
I thought it was really good. You know, it was unique to me. This is new to me too, going this fast. It was unique to me there in the fourth quarter, 7 minutes left. You know, where's the pace? You know, what's the pace? And I think that's the juggling act for me as the head coach, as the play caller on offense, of how do we keep our players disciplined of going fast, but also being respectful of the game, and how to operate the game in such a manner that you respect your opponent, because Boise's a good football team. Coach Peterson's a great coach of respecting their work and their players and all that. So there's a fine line in there. But I thought the tempo was great. I was really impressed with our guys early on of how efficient they were. I thought there was a telling point in the game, and it just got mentioned to me. If you remember the third down conversion to Case in there early in the third quarter, was a big third down conversion. He makes a great run after the catch, and he goes down, and the first thing he does is get the ball to the official, and he sprints and gets lined up in a spot, and sure enough, bang, about 8 seconds later, he catches a touchdown pass. So our guys are starting to understand more of the up-tempo and what we're trying to get done, and then respectfully how to handle the game there late in the ball game.
Do you eventually want to move faster?
I think we can be. I think there's times when we can be faster. I watched our game on replay last night. I always try to do that just to get a feel for everything. I do that on Sunday nights, and I was thinking about it. You don't have a chance to even comment on the play at times, because the next play the ball's getting snapped. So the commentators of the world that one guy's calling the game, but the commentators of the world almost have to comment on the drive at times rather than the play, and that's how we hopefully can be and be efficient at it. But I think we can be faster at times for sure. But there were some really cool moments in there. At one point, we lined up in the same formation and ran the same play 3 times in a row and scored a touchdown. And we did it all in about a 40-second span. So that's the stuff that we're looking for, and I think that keeps the pressure on our opponents.
Coach, a couple of guys were talking about how no matter how much you simulated in practice, they were running plays even faster than you guys in practice. Were you surprised about how quickly you were calling plays, and how was the communication of getting everything?
I thought it was great. I thought our communication was really good on the headsets. We're used to chaos. We're used to music playing. We're used to stuff flying and people running on and off the field. We spot the ball even faster in practice than they do in the games. So I think for us it was a little bit calm on game day and made it a little easier to go even faster. I felt great about it. I think the quarterbacks handled it really well. There's things to clean up, don't get me wrong. I mean, we had a couple false starts at the start of a series that should never happen, so there's stuff to clean up. But all in all, for the first time of doing it, with a little bit of anxiousness going into it, as for me, even as the play caller, there was some uncertainty. How is all this going to play out? But I thought all in all it really worked out well, and proud of the guys for their ability to embrace the change and then apply it when game day came around.
So what are the mechanics of how you call a game now at that pace? I mean, is it a lot of stuff that's pre-done?
Yeah.
I mean, how does it work?
We try to, before the series, we try to get ourselves into a mode of, okay, at least for myself individually, of, okay, these are the things that I think we might call this series. And then notify the people that need to be notified. Obviously the quarterback, the receivers, hey guys, get ready for these few things because we think this is what's going to come. And then stick to it, and call the stuff that you thought pre-planned would work and not second guess yourself. And I think that's the beauty of going no huddle. You don't have time to second guess yourself. You don't have time to overanalyze things. You go with what you thought and what you prepared for, and you call the plays. And so many times you can call the same play 4 times in a row, and you can get a different result 4 different times based on the defense that you get. And so I think sometimes we overanalyze and, that play didn't work. Well, maybe it was based on the defense that we got. So let's call it again and see if we get the defense that we were looking for to make the play more effective. And I think that held true Saturday night.
Coach, from a kind of start to finish, there were big plays. But relative to a lot of games, especially offensively, there appeared to be a lack of dramatic momentum. It felt constant. Did it feel that way to you?
It sure did. We offensively had a lot of long fields, as we referred to them. We started in our own end just about every series. We had one after a big kickoff return by John Ross. We got the ball out by the 40. But the rest of the time, we started really kind of 25, 20, 10-yard line type stuff, and we had to drive the length of the field. And we made our plays, and we were consistent. I think what happens is you don't notice the down and distance as much. You don't notice, so what if we had a holding penalty? We got to go and run the next play. And I thought we really overcame some of our shortcomings that really affected us a year ago. I mean, if we got a holding penalty a year ago, it was like we might as well have punted on second down. You know, I mean, we were so handcuffed after that. Saturday night, we got holding penalties, and we just went and kept playing and converted on third down and made our plays and kept drives alive. And that was really impressive. I thought our third down conversion rate was really something to make note of. When you go 11 of 15 on third down, you're converting 73% of the time without anxiety. Guys caught the ball; it was just normal for them, and that was really impressive as well.
So you guys were watching the tape, the fourth down decision in the first quarter, is that right?
Right.
I just play ball itself. Any thoughts on?
Probably me being stubborn more than anything else. You know, we called the play the first time, and Dwayne won't have a problem with me saying this. If Dwayne follows Sam Wu Ching, he probably scores a touchdown the first time we call it. Called the same play again the second time. I really felt like we had a chance for some yards there, and out of frustration, I probably called it a third time in a row. I thought we could get 2 yards, you know. But a credit to Boise and their kids firing off on 4th and 1. I thought the tempo would get them. They made their play. So hindsight's 20/20. Probably would have called something differently there on 4th and 1 to go for it. It didn't happen. The other one, when we decided to punt there, I think from, I don't know, we were the 35 or 36 yard line. With the wind at our back, I probably would have attempted a field goal if I could do it all over again. I would have given Travis that chance to kick the field goal there as well. So we all have stuff to work on. You know, I'm not perfect, and I don't claim to be, and our kids have stuff to work on, and myself included.
Boise ran plays a lot more quickly than they did in December. How much do you think that helped the
It was amazing. I loved our condition, the condition of the team. I thought our defense was in great shape. They faced 88 plays and gave up 2 explosive plays. They kept the ball in front of them. Can we tackle better? Sure we can. Can we rush the passer better? Sure we can. But when the team's going that fast and you play the way we play it, I was really impressed by our defense and their ability to get lined up, to be sound. And that's part of the reason why we're doing what we're doing on offense, is for when we face that tempo defensively, that our defense is in a comfort zone. It's not unique to them. It's a place of, it's normal. I can tell you from practice today, something that was really cool. We went in shoulder pads and helmets. We had a lot to work on. And Austin obviously was back practicing with the first unit today. And you could see a noticeable difference from the conditioning of the other 10 guys as opposed to where he was at, because he hasn't been doing it every day. And so it speaks volumes to doing it every single day and it not being unique to one game week, and that you have to do it every day. And Austin will get right back to it, and we'll get him in shape, and he'll be ready to go a week from Saturday. But I think it was really telling to me of, here's a guy who practices every day with us, but one week of not going every snap with the ones, it really showed up today. So there's a reason why we're doing it, and it was effective for our defense last Saturday night.
You talk about the wide receivers blocking, especially early in the game on some of those wide plays.
I thought it was good. We can be better. There's no doubt we can be better. You know, I mean, Kevin Smith got a holding penalty on one. I thought Kaysen was okay, and he knows it. We'll get better at it. We know the ball's going to go to the perimeter. We know Jadon and John Ross and those types of guys are going to get their plays on the perimeter, and we have to be really effective. We have big wideouts. You talk about Kaysen, Kevin Smith, DeAndre Campbell, Damari Stringfellow. Those are big guys blocking on the perimeter, and it's a real kind of piece to our offense that has to be effective. If you're going to load the box and stop Bishop and Dwayne and those guys, when we're going to throw the ball on the perimeter, we have to block those corners and safeties, and we were good. We can be better, though.
Steve, you mentioned that I think it was 7 freshmen, pure freshmen that you played. Any others that you can expect to see over the next couple of games? In addition, you said that there may be some upperclassmen, other guys necessarily for the first year that might redshirt that day.
Yeah, we of our freshmen, there's some guys that were somewhat limited that I think we want to expand their role. You talk about Trevor Walker, you talk about Kevin King, talk about Darrell Daniels. Those are the three that really jump out. I think we can expand their role even more. Some of the vet guys that we're trying to figure out, Kendall Taylor's a classic one. We purposely, we didn't feel like his role was significant enough to just put on the field for 2 or 3 or 4 plays. So trying to figure him out. We want to do what's best for our football program. We want to do what's best for the kid, and there's always those tough decisions to make because we want, if a guy's going to play, we want it to be significant. We don't want it just to be filling a role, and we feel like we can get better with those guys and how much they play and when they play and playing at a time when it's meaningful. So hopefully we see more out of those guys. I mentioned Kevin King. Another guy is Jermaine Kelly. We didn't play purposely because there's some things he needs to work on, but I think he can be a player for us. We just didn't want to use it Saturday night if it doesn't get better here over the next few weeks.
Sarkisian, can you talk a little bit about what the emphasis is for this week, and also your opinion on just having a bye week this early?
I love, first of all, I'm going to answer the second question first. I love having the bye week this early. I think it was a perfect setup. You play that first game, you focus on it, you come out of that first game and you say, okay, this is what we need to work on. You have your bullet points of things that we need to get better at. We can focus on that this week and then get ready for Illinois next week. Tackling is a huge deal defensively. We need to tackle better than we did. I think offensively our pad level up front can definitely improve. So those are 2 areas definitely. And then special teams. We played a bunch of frontline starters on special teams. We need some of those names that I just mentioned, those guys to really, we need to push them to the forefront on special teams so that I don't have Will Schamberger, Sean Parker, Shaq Thompson, Princeton Fuimoano starting on every team. We need some of our depth guys to step up and be frontline starters on special teams. So those are things we're working on.
You mentioned the 88 defensive plays. How much of an extra burden does an up-tempo offense have on defense? And is this the first year you feel like you've had enough depth on the team and talent to be able to handle that?
I think it's a good point. Again, I'm going to jump to the second one first. I really believe this is the best depth we've ever had in 5 years of being here. And I think it lends itself to allowing us to playing up-tempo, allowing us to defend the up-tempo teams and playing more second, even third team guys and putting them on the field early in games when we were reluctant to in years past. I think the up-tempo offense is going to force our defense to play more plays. We're aware of that. We understand that. It's not that we weren't surprised by that Saturday night. And we're also aware that more teams are going to go up tempo. And the customary playing a game where on defense you play 65 plays doesn't exist anymore. We have to be ready to play 80 to 90 and some games potentially 100 plays a game. And so to do that, you have to rotate, you have to have depth, and you have to do it early in the game. You can't wait till you're tired to sub. You have to sub and have a sequence of when you sub. Is it 3 plays, 4 plays, 5 plays, whatever it is based on the position group? You have to sub those guys. And the reality of it is, you don't have 11 starters. You really have 22 starters. You have a 2 deep, and those guys are going to play, and they're going to play all the time.
Steve, if I would have told you 10 years ago that you'd follow this kind of offense, would you bought that? Given your history?
Maybe, maybe. I would love to play in this offense, to get more chances to throw the ball and run the ball and have fun. And, there's less time for the coach to yell at you in between plays for the mistake you made and all that stuff. So I'd love to play in this. I'm having a blast calling this. 10 years ago, I probably should have been running this. I think that would have gotten Reggie and Lindell and Matt more chances to score more points. So I think this is great. I think it's good for us. I think it's healthy. I think that we're in great shape. We came out of this game more healthy than any other first game of the year in years past. So it feels right. I feel like we can be more physical. We don't want to lose the physicality that we have. I think we can be more. But it's a lot of fun, and that's what it should be. I felt like it kept our fans engaged in the game, that lull between snaps of the 25 seconds where they can talk to their buddy and kiss their girlfriend in the dog pack or whatever they do up there. It kept the towels waving and people were fired up. I thought it was great.
So why did it make sense to do it this year as opposed to maybe a year ago, 2 years
I thought it just fit our personnel. You know, in years past, I always felt like, man, if we could just shorten the game, keep the game shortened, shorten the game, keep it close, have a chance to win it in the fourth quarter, that we could win that way. And I thought it was effective for us. Now, we have the depth, we have the personnel, we have the athletes on our team that, man, the more chances they get, they're going to make plays. And I think we saw that. I think we saw that in the second half of the game. You outscore a good team like Boise 28-3 in the second half. It was really impressive. So it just felt right to me with the personnel we have on our roster, the depth that we have to make the switch. And, you know, it's one game, and it worked for one game, you know, and anybody can do it once. As I told the team this morning, we got to do it again here in, I guess, 12 days when we get back on the field.
How big a challenge is it, both personnel and scheme-wise, defensively, when you go, during the course of the season, you're going to go from an offense like Boise State to an offense like Stanford, and it would seem that's dramatic.
Well,
Big change.
the beauty for us is, even though we go up tempo, when we go goods on goods and our first offense is against our first defense, we give them a variety of looks, and we're not as much as whatever we showed Saturday night with a bunch of 4 wide looks and spread formations. We still have an offense that's capable of going to 2 tight ends and 2 running backs and pounding the football. So they get exposed to a lot of that stuff in training camp. We'll obviously expose them to that the week of that game. And then we have our service periods or our scout periods, whatever you like to call them, where they have an allotted amount of time to work on those things. And at the end of the day, football's football.